Okay, this video is for people who have just purchased a Nintendo Wii from me and are unable to see me in person and need a rundown of what is going to come on their console. So just gonna take a minute to come on here. Give me just a second. And here we go. So these are all of your applications. They may not be in the exact same order, but let me start with Wii and GameCube games. So Wii Flow channel right here and Nintendo channel right here with the GameCube logo. These are where your Wii and GameCube games can be found. This is quite obvious by the icons. USB Loader GX though is where you want to be viewing your Wii and GameCube games. I've only left these two channels on here because I want to make sure that if someone comes along the line and plays your console who doesn't have any clue what they're doing, they will likely stumble into these channels. I find it unlikely that someone is ever gonna click on this and think that there's actually games on here. So that's why I include those channels. But again, Wii Flow and Nintendo, you really should never even go on there. They're not good ways to view the games. They don't have artwork. They're just list format. And again, they're just gonna be Wii games on one channel and just Nintendo games on the other. As you can see here, this is gonna be all Nintendo and all Wii games. You can also click this button and sort it how you'd like to. Let me think of what else to mention. This down here is the listing. I don't like this one and I don't love this one. This one is a great way to view your games. It's kind of like the classic Wii and GameCube application screen. But this one's probably my favorite, just alphabetical order. You got the artwork on the left and you can just choose your game. You can see down here, 6.65 gigabytes left. That means you technically can add a couple games. If you put a disc inside and press this button, you can add a game, but you're probably only gonna be able to add 1 or 2 games. So it's got about 230 gigabytes of games, 112 total. Most of those are gonna be Wii games. Don't ever mess with this. Don't ever mess with the settings. If you ever have a problem with these menu screens, just let me know and I will come in, or I will just help you fix it, get the right settings and everything. So here's a locking control. I like to do this if I'm ever letting kids play the console. I'll just select Wii games maybe, and then I'll put the lock on. And then they're only gonna be able to select the games. They're not gonna be able to access any of these features. See? So you just press the unlock button to stop that. All right, let's get into a game. I would like to showcase this one first. It is the Mario Kart Wii Deluxe Green Edition. This one has tons of new characters and over 700 custom tracks. I think I'm gonna sit down here because this is gonna be a few more minutes. Alrighty, so play just like Mario Kart.
Okay, let's go! Sweet!
Kind of just chose a random one, but you can kind of see there that there are just hundreds and hundreds of tracks to choose from. Turn the volume down a bit so I can talk. So I'm not really going to focus on showing you gameplay. Like, you're going to be able to see that it works when you get it and you can test the games. But all of the Wii and GameCube games work perfectly. And then when you're done with the game, you just press the home button, you go to Wii menu, and then it will automatically direct you back to USB Loader GX. Righty, let's go to a GameCube game. Now with the GameCube game, you have to use the nunchuck you cannot use the Wii remote alone. And so now I have the nunchuck installed. And you can see it's working. And then your nunchuck will just be used for controls. So again, nunchuck and Wii remote. When you're done, I just press the home button right now. It'll just take you right back to USB Loader GX. And that is how GameCube games work. And then there's really nothing else I think I need to show you on this. These are just like some ways that you can categorize the games if you want to further. If you hover over any option, it'll tell you what that does. Just do that. And then when you're done with USB Loader GX, you just go to the Wii menu. And then let me showcase an emulator. So, a side note, PlayStation and N64, the user interfaces for these two are a little bit different than the other ones. The Game Boy, the Sega, the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, these ones are all gonna work basically the same. So I'm just gonna show you one of these and then I'll show you PlayStation. And yeah. Okay, so when you're on the emulators, it's basically gonna be like this in most of them. You're just gonna be able to select your game. Say you wanna play this one, click it again, and boom, you're in. The emulators are super quick, super easy. And then now we're playing the game. All right, so when you're done with an emulator game, you press the home button, you get this UI that pops up. You can go to the main menu. You can also load and save games from there. And then you're back to the game, and then you just go up one level and you're back on your games. One side note about all the games in here, if you are on one of the emulators and you exit the games page again by going up one level, you are now kind of outside of the games and you need to go into the ROMs folder. If you do this again, you're now on the root of the SD card. SNES is the title of the game emulator that you're currently accessing. So you can just go into SNES, go into ROMs, and they're right there. But yeah, that's the only issue that you may ever have is if you accidentally go out of the games completely. You know, try not to get confused. You're just going to look for the name of the emulator. So this is SNES, so it's SNES. If you're playing the Game Boy Advance one, that's VBA. If you're playing the only other one that it could really happen to you in actually is Gen Plus for Sega Genesis, and FCEU GX is for regular Nintendo. If you're ever at this page and you can't figure out how to get to the games, all you need to do is look for the logo up here, and then it'll be exactly the same thing that you're going into. So this is SNES. I'm gonna find SNES and ROMs, and you're back to your games. I'm only adding this tip in case you ever do have a problem, but if you forget it, you know, just message me, and I'll of course tell you how to do this again. But I really don't think anyone's ever gonna have an issue. You really have to be going out of your way to like go all the way to the top of the page, press up one level. But I just wanted to put this in here in case anybody does ever have a problem with accessing their emulators. Okay, so that is literally how it is. They're the exact same user interfaces for SNES, which I just showed, NES, Sega, and the Game Boy games. Nintendo 64 and PlayStation are a little bit different, so I'm going to show you one of these, and then you're pretty much good. Any questions you have, just message me. So with the PlayStation and Nintendo, you're going to be like on a homepage thing. You press load ISO, load from SD. Everything's always stored on the SD. And then you can choose your game, click it, press OK, and now your game is loaded. So now you need to press play game, and then you're good. The FPS here on the top left, just go into the settings on the just go into the settings. Oh shoot, I'm trying to exit. Just a second. Okay, so to exit the PlayStation and N64, you kind of just have to like press a button, punch some buttons in a combo. The home button doesn't work. You can Google that if you want to know the exact buttons you have to press to get back to this home screen. But in the settings, you can turn off the FPS so that it won't show on the top left corner like it was. And then on the input, if you're ever playing a game that's really tough to use the controller for, you can go in here, click one of these, and it will cycle through all the buttons on your remote and just leave it on one that you like, and then that will be programmed to the remote. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory once you start messing with it. But this is how you program a remote. It's pretty similar on N64. These are the only two that you would really ever need to program a remote for, because they had more buttons on the controllers. All the other emulators are pretty old games, and so they just have a couple buttons, and the Wii remote alone works great for them. I've been trying to talk really fast. I didn't want this to last too long. It still lasted over 10 minutes. If there's any questions or problems that you have, feel free to message me.